On today's episode, we are doing DIY IKEA hacks, and if you don't have an IKEA near you, still watch this episode because I think the ideas that I'm going to be doing today will still translate well with things that you can find closer to you. And we're doing something kind of exciting today. We are on our way to the Tampa IKEA because I had some other errands and other things I needed to pick up in the area, so it was actually more time efficient, and I just thought it would be fun to shop a different IKEA store. I'm really excited. I am going with a pre-planned list of IKEA hacks, so I know what I'm shopping for. So let's hit the road and I'll meet you at IKEA in Tampa. After about an hour and 20-minute drive, we are here and I am ready to shop. Let's go shopping. So usually for my hacks, I try to avoid the upstairs just to save time, but I wanted to come up here and check on a few things because I have an idea and I don't know if they're gonna have something for it or not, but we're gonna give it a whirl. If it looks weird that I don't have a face mask on, I'm in Florida, I'm vaccinated, and this is okay to do. So I just had to stop because I thought this little vignette was really cute. I am a huge fan of this kitchen. I love an all-white kitchen and I love the checkerboard pattern. Love the lighting, love everything about this. Sorry honey, I'm not coming home. I'm moving into IKEA. The famous arrow showing me where to go. I came here to check out this stool because I had an idea for it. I'm thinking it might be a little bit big for what I want, and the price is not that awesome. I mean, it's $25 per stool, that's great, but for what I need it for, it's a little too pricey. Now they do have a stool over here that I like the price of much better, which is this, $5.99. I still think it's too big, so I might have to come up with another idea. Now I want to get out of the furniture section and get down to the marketplace, which is where I'm going to get all of my hacks. It seems like I can't make an IKEA trip without stopping in the pillows. So I'm gonna check this out. I definitely need some inserts for some pillow covers that I ordered off of Amazon. The prices here are fantastic, so I'm gonna grab a few of those, and maybe, just maybe, I've got my eye on a pillow over there for a DIY. So the Orlando floral department section is way better than Tampa. So if you're looking for florals, go to Orlando. So one that I was most excited about, they are out of, and that's a real bummer. I tried to talk them into selling me a floor model, but they said no. I better leave before I buy all the other things. Overall, we did good on our shopping trip. We did miss out on one of the items I was really hoping to get. It said that there were 3 in stock, but their stock was incorrect. Heading home is an hour and 40 minutes. It's high traffic time, but I had a good time. So we are back from our adventure, and our first IKEA hack, watch me slaughter this, the Curry's Blood planter. I hope I got that right. We are going to be transforming this into a tabletop fire pit. Now the terracotta kind of exterior of it is a little bit too orange for the look that I'm going for. I found this Gorilla water sealant and it says that it's paintable, and none of the other ones that I looked at said it right on the front and made it easy for me. Maybe they are as well, but I wasn't going to take the time to read all the tiny print. And you don't have to do this, but terracotta is very porous and it can really like suck in the paint, so I thought this would be good. So I'm going to start by spray painting the exterior in a black, and we're going to get the top rim, that's going to be in a satin black. And then once that's dry, we're gonna very carefully tape it off and cover it up and paint the inside. 18 karat gold spray paint. It's my favorite gold spray paint color. I just think it's a really pretty and true color. It doesn't look brass, it doesn't look bronzy, but like a nice true gold color. Now, painting something that I'm going to turn into a tabletop fire pit. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I think it will be okay though, honestly, because the flame is going to be in the center. Now, once it's all painted, then we need to kind of assemble our fire pit. We're going to just take whatever we can find. I just ended up using a scrap piece of 1x4, and then I stacked on top of it a wood round that I had in my stash that seemed to be a great size for this bowl, and that provided a nice stable base. And then now it's time for our fuel. Now you can get this one here at the Dollar Tree for $1, or you can get this one off of Amazon for $2. And the biggest difference is this one burns for 2 hours. This burns for 6. So for convenience factors and not having to switch them out all the time, this one's awesome. If you calculate it out that way, you get more burn time for the money with the one from Amazon. So I'll link that in the description box below. We're gonna place 3 of those in the center. To hide the mechanics of our fire bowl, I bought a whole bunch of black stones that they sell at the Dollar Tree, and these are going to work perfect. I even take the bags that they were kind of held in and kind of shove those in around the base so that we aren't using more rocks than we need. I ended up using like 8 bags, I think, and I just fill in the bowl, and I want to leave some of the gold showing, so I make sure to leave a couple of inches of rim of that. I make sure to remove the lids and cover up as much of the fuel can as possible, so really all that is showing are the wicks. And that's it for this super easy IKEA hack. And you can see how you could get a similar look using supplies that you have near you if you don't have an IKEA close by. Just a little bit of paint and some fuel cans and some Dollar Tree stones, and you have an elegant piece for ambiance at night or to roast some marshmallows while visiting with friends. This hack is so much fun. I just love it. But what do you think? For our next IKEA hack, we are going to be hacking the citrus Krita pot, if I said that right. I had in mind that I was going to do this DIY, and I really thought it would be fun to do with an IKEA piece. Now, I wanted something black, so I'm going to be altering this pot. It's a dark charcoal gray, but for where I'm putting it on my front porch, which we recently made over, and if you haven't seen that episode, you're going to want to definitely check that out, and I'll link it in the description box below. All of my stuff for that was black, and so I really wanted to kind of keep that black theme. So we are going to be changing the exterior of this pot, but I wanted to add a cool texture. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take it outside and spray this really cool stone spray paint on it to kind of just add a little bit more texture. And that actually takes a little bit of time to dry. But once it does dry, then we're gonna go over the top of it with a black spray paint. And then once that's dry, we're gonna go over the top of that with a water sealant, since it's gonna be around a lot of water and exposed to the elements. I just thought that that might be a good way to finish it off. With everything dry, we take 3 bags of these decorative rocks that I picked up at the Dollar Tree and put them in the bottom of the pot, just for some visual interest. And then I fill up our pot with water. Do you see what we are making here? I fill it right up to the rim with water, and then I place it on this decorative stand that I picked up at Lowe's for about $9. Now this is the stand that I decided to go with in lieu of the stools that we looked at on our IKEA shopping trip, and you can see that this is a much better size. I got this solar powered little water fountain device off of Amazon, which I'll link below. You can hear it, kind of, it wants to work right now. And we're just gonna set this in the water, and it's gonna spout out a little water feature, and it's all powered by the sun, no fancy thing. It just kind of floats around in the water. Now here are a couple of things to note with this solar powered water fountain. It actually works surprisingly well, but it only works in full sun. As you can see, it's spraying really high and doing such a good job that it is spraying a lot of the water outside of the pot. Our pot was about 14.5 inches wide at the top, so I would recommend considering getting something a little bit wider than that so that it can kind of catch some of that water back inside the pot and not spray it all on the sidewalk. I also decided to give it a little try in our swimming pool, and that was really fun as well. So the condensed version is a large pot with some rocks in the bottom, water, and a solar powered water pump, and boom, you have the easiest water feature ever. So for our next DIY IKEA hack, we are doing the chili pepper pot. I think I said that right. We are taking this pot and we are going to be creating an umbrella stand / end table. We are going to take a PVC pipe and cut it down to fit underneath. And then I'm going to take some Gorilla Tape and kind of like tape it down to the bottom right in the center. And then we are going to put cement in the bottom. Now, I'm not gonna fill it all the way up because I don't want it to weigh 1,000 pounds, but I do wanna fill it up far enough that I feel like it will be heavy enough to hold an umbrella in place if the winds pick up and not be tipped over. And that ended up being about 40 pounds of cement. And I just added that little by little, adding water each time and kind of mixing it up as I went. And then when it was full enough, I kind of just bounced it a little to even everything out and have it settled down. And then I wiped all the edges and cleaned up any mess on the rim and let that dry overnight. While that's setting up, I'm going to take a wood round, a decorative wood round that you have seen me use on this channel in all of my Way Cool Dirt Cheap episodes. I've used these wood rounds for trays. I've used these wood rounds for a lot of things, and I thought it was the perfect size and kind of thickness to create a little tabletop. We're going to mark where center is, and then I take a 1 1/4 inch hole saw and saw out a hole. And my battery on my drill was kind of dying in this process. So I ended up having to pause while it charged, but it eventually did make it through. Then I simply stained the top in a briar smoke gel stain, which is the same kind of undertones as our pot is, and I let that dry for a few hours. Then I took some wipe-on poly and polyurethaned the entire thing. Once that was dry, we put our top onto the pot, make sure the holes are centered up, and then we slip our awesome new cabana striped umbrella in through the holes, and that will hold everything together where it should be. I don't permanently affix the tabletop because you never know when you need a little extra hidden storage. But I just adore how this turned out. It is super stable and it's quite heavy for me to handle, which is good, I think, because it means the umbrella is not going anywhere. Now here's something extremely awesome about this umbrella. It has solar powered LED lights and it lights up at night, and it has like an on-off switch and everything. This was just another opportunity to add some ambience in a place that people want to hang out at night. But again, this is a shockingly easy DIY IKEA hack that you could also do with stuff from your local home improvement store. All right, so for this next one, we're doing a double hack. We are doing a fake plant and a boysen bar little pot. Now this is a smaller version. I did actually a little bit larger version in a past IKEA hack episode. I'll link that and all of my IKEA hack episodes in the description box below, so if you want to see how I did that. Basically, this is going to go inside here and you could leave it as is, but for me, I like to design things to the nines, maybe a little bit over the top sometimes, I don't know. I created this little stencil that we are going to actually put on the front of our pot. And then we're gonna just take some black chalk paint and just chalk paint this on. Now, this little stencil is my definition of feka, the name of the plant. It translates to fake or a plant that you can't kill but still looks real. And if you watch my channel, you know that if I put things in a pot, I'm a serial plant killer. And And I don't mean to be, but I just end up killing plants. I just put this silly little definition together for this. Now, if you don't have the ability to cut a stencil, I have not forgot you. I have a free printable, which I will link in the description box below. You can size this to whatever you want. Just take some graphite paper and transfer it onto your pot, and then take like a paint pen or paint with a little brush. I've done this like on pillows and all kinds of things in the past, and it works out really great. I've been seeing all these plant stands around, and I thought it would be really fun to create a little plant stand. So I have a 3/4 inch dowel that I picked up at Hobby Lobby for $1.50. I think we can get the job done with this one 36-inch dowel. Now, I've seen these made several different ways online. I've seen them made with just glue, which doesn't seem very sturdy. And then I've also seen it done probably the proper way, where they kind of cut out and then chisel out and do a little crisscross pattern and kind of like smash them together. That's probably the correct way to do it. But I wanted to offer an option that was a little bit more sturdy than glue, but maybe a little bit easier than the crisscross chisel option. And here's what I came up with. We are going to take our dowel and make these cuts, either on a miter box or on a miter saw like you see me doing here. The cuts are 4 at 6 inches, 1 at 4 1/4 inch, and 2 at 1 5/8 inch, which you should be able to get out of one dowel. And once we have those cuts, we are going to pre-drill a hole exactly in the center of the 4 1/4 inch piece. Then we are going to take what is called a screw dowel, and you've seen me use these on my channel before, and we will place that in a drill and tighten it up as if it were like a regular drill bit, and we are going to simply drill that through that hole. And you want a little bit of screw dowel on either side of your wood dowel. How many times can we say dowel? Then we're going to pre-drill some holes in the centers of the 2 1 5/8 inch pieces and add a little wood glue to those, and then simply twist those onto either side of that screw dowel until they are nice and tight. Then I took mine outside so I could use my nail gun to then glue and shoot nails into the legs, and I kind of propped it up on a 2x4 board to keep everything the same height while doing this. If you don't have a nail gun, you could use smaller screws on each of the legs, or just use some finished nails and nail them in by hand. Then you can fill in those nail holes with some wood putty, or there's a little hack that I recently learned that will give you the perfect match, and it's next to free. You can just take a little tiny bit of that wood glue and some of the sawdust from your cutoffs and kind of mix that together with the glue and fill in those holes that way. And once that's fully dried, you give everything a good sanding and do a clear coat over the top and let that dry. Now, if I were to do this again, I'd probably make the stand prior to doing our stencil, because as you can see here, a little bit of our definition gets cut off by it. So I probably would have made the stencil a little bit smaller if I was planning on putting it on a stand, but it's okay. Together or separate, I absolutely love this double IKEA hack. The cement pot is a very easy IKEA hack, and the plant stand is probably a little bit harder, but much easier than the chiseled method. But I just think this is so super cute. So this next IKEA hack is in lieu of the one that I had originally planned, because they were out of stock. When they come back in stock, I might try to find a way to sneak this IKEA hack in, because I was so excited about it. I always love the IKEA pillow section, and I just picked up a really inexpensive girly pillow cover, and we are gonna just simply cut some vinyl that says relax and stay a while, and we're gonna just heat press that right onto my pillow. Just press it at 340 degrees for 30 seconds on the front and 15 seconds on the back. Let it cool and peel back the clear film. That's it. Now, if you don't have a vinyl cutting machine, I've also created another printable that you could use to trace it onto your pillow cover, then fill it in with a paint pen. I've done this in the past and it's worked out great. And for around $8, we have a super stylish pillow for my new outdoor sofa. I love this pillow, and it's gonna look adorable with all of my other ones. Well, I just had so much fun putting this episode together for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it too. If so, here's some other episode that I think you'll like as well, and if you haven't done so already, consider hitting the subscribe button right there. It's super easy to do, and I would love it if you joined the DIY Niner family. And to all of my DIY Niners, I just want to remind you that you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.